Sunday night live. Shane and Brendan Mock. How you guys doing?
Great.
Cool. Rodney?
Right on. Sunday
there.
night. How's it going?
Can't complain.
Cool.
Sunday night, we're relaxing, got a couple drinks, and ready to talk some race cars.
Talk some race cars.
I'm ready to talk some race cars. Yeah.
Worked on the race car during the day, and now we're going to talk about it at night.
Awesome.
There you go. No, that's great. I see people starting to get on. We got 11, 12 popping in, so we'll give it a minute or two. And we're going to get started here. We're going to
drink.
Talk to a little bit to the left with Shane first, and just talk about how he got into racing and that sort of thing. And, how it got him started. Of course, like father, like son. So Brendan came in and picked up. And now they're doing it together. And so it'll be a good show here.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, definitely. So I see you got a couple things on your little table there. You want to talk about that at all? Is that a turbo? What is that?
Did you find that in the scrapyard? What is that stuff?
I think that is.
That
looks like an S trim.
Yep.
That's true.
A big F1.
So you found like a kitchen table at a yard sale, and it came with that table weight.
Exactly. Yep.
Right on.
To hold the time slips down.
Right.
Well, that's cool. And I see you got a Wally there. It looks like Brendan. Did you win that, or did Shane win that?
Well, that's a heads up one actually.
We won that whole purple car at Arc City.
How many X-ray Wallies do you have?
You got a fan of your centerpiece here, Shelly and Kurt. Great centerpiece, they said.
There we go.
They like the Pro Charger for sure.
Oh, absolutely they do.
Charger to the front.
Kenny wants to know how many wrenches you threw today, Shane.
I threw no wrenches today.
Man, sweet.
Yeah.
Have a drink.
It was actually a good day.
Yep, successful day.
Yeah. Absolutely. So kicking things off, we're got a couple questions here, and like we always do, Gary will come in. We'll get to a point where Gary will start showing some of the comments and that sort of thing. Any questions you have for Shane and Brendan, we'll pop them up as we go along. But we wanted to start with Shane first because that's kind of where it started. Myself, I remember meeting Shane in the early 90s, like 90, 91, 92. And because I know Shane came over from Hutchison. And so we, just met out there on West Street, if you will, or wherever we were street racing. But just a question real quick for Shane. What kind of got you started into racing? Like, what was your first little moment where you're like, man, I'd like to race cars?
I think more, I can't say racing it started, but more tearing cars apart and playing with them is where it started. I went to the racetrack for the first time, I believe, in 91. And that would have been with the red car was the first time I actually went to the racetrack. I'd played the street stuff before then. But like I said, how fast anything was, who knows? Even had a 4-speed Cutlass, Big Block Cutlass at one time. After I moved over here, the Mercury Bobcat with the 5-liter in it.
I remember that one.
Yep, stuffed a injected 302 in it.
Yeah,
and
5-liter in there.
Thought that was the coolest thing. And it was slammed to the ground too, and I never lowered it.
Was that like a transplant? Was that like a transplant out of a Fox body back in the day?
Yes, it was. Actually got it out of a wrecked 5-liter. Yep.
Kept it fuel injected and stuff.
Yep. I put it in bone stock. So
there you go.
Awesome.
Ron Rich, I think, wound up with that car at one time also. If not, it was a buddy of his. A buddy of his and I traded, and that's actually where the Big Block Cutlass came from. He followed me home one day and wanted to. He just had to have that Bobcat, and I wasn't a fan. That's something I can also say. I've never really got attached to cars. Really, truthfully, my only ever attachment to a car was probably the purple car. Other than that, white Fox body because of my sister. That car always have something for me and she forever. So
right,
sure. Well, let's touch base on that. But you mentioned the red car. I remember, that's kind of like first kind of met you there on K42. I know it had like a little small block in it and that sort of thing. How fast was that car? Did you race it a little bit?
Low 12s. Yep. Low 12s and 91, 92, whatever it was.
So back then, did you and Rodney come across each other in the street race scene back then anytime?
So yeah. Rodney and old Bill Dots came in and called me out one night. So yeah,
That's a true story.
First encounter.
Come in where?
To work. I actually worked.
Come right into where you work and called you out.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The parts counter and called me out.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a true story.
I was shaking in my boots. Let me tell you, I thought for sure I was whipped, but
oh yeah,
the old Mustang just.
Couple boys. It didn't. A couple boys from the Ford dealership came down. We wanted a piece of the red machine there because you were fast, right? And you were running the streets, and we had to see and that little small block of yours was rolling that night. And I remember you guys went by us, and that thing. I remember talking to you before and after the race. You were just talking about how you were nervous, but you let it eat, and it was a good race. But yeah, you got it that night. That's for sure.
There was a lot of people down there that night.
There was. Yeah, that was a good time. So you mentioned the purple car as well. I remember when we were having MSRA back in like 98, 99, you, I think, pretty much dominated that real street class. You want to talk about that car and that combination?
So that was the true radial stuff. And again, daily driving that car at the time. So that car went 1120s on the motor on slicks off tranny brake and ran 1130s on true radials off a foot brake.
Cool.
Right on. So it worked well. Pretty easy to work with, but of course you always want to go faster. So actually, funny story is, got the red car from Rick Haugen. The purple car was originally done by Rick Haugen. I didn't buy it directly from him, but that car was done by Rick. Rick painted that car also, both red and purple car. That was one of my favorite cars, without a doubt. But like I said, drove it a lot, so that's probably why. I put more.
Yeah, no, it was a fun car. I mean, do you remember that series and how many events you went to, or how many races you won on that?
Man, I want to say we ran 7 or 8.
No, that was a while back.
Series, right? It's quite a few. I mean, shoot, we were running Topeka, Oklahoma, here, Ark City. I want to say it was at least a 6 or 7 race series. I mean, we all thought we made it when we went to Topeka and ran MSRA. So
big time racing.
Yeah.
Oh, Rodney's got a little technical issue here. Where'd you go, Rod?
Rod was driving the yellow banana. Him and Bessie.
Yeah, the old Camaro.
Yep.
He must have got. I gotta go fetch him. I gotta fetch him here. I gotta retrieve him with an invite. Give me a second. He's been good on his end. He hasn't had any technical trouble for a while.
Yeah.
We'll get this fixed.
Pro Charger probably scared his internet. I'm sorry.
Probably did. Probably ruined it. There he is. Yeah, and back in them days, I remember the purple car, the true radial.
Yeah.
I don't remember how fast it was. I just remember the car, and I didn't know you. And I don't think I even knew of your name associated with a Camaro until the next car came around after the purple one, and you'll get to that when you get to it. But yeah, I didn't know you back then. I just knew of your cars, and was just a fan of the MSRA.
Yeah, that was it.
So in order to
that whole MSRA deal was.
Go ahead.
I'll just say that whole MSRA deal that Shane and Gilstrap and Trey put on, that was what we had to do back then. We didn't have a lot going on and heads up and that sort of thing. And so that was really, really a fun time. And they had a lot of classes, that helped out. I think there was 4 or 5 different classes in that deal, and they ran a little series. But
yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I had a technical issue or something, had to drop off there, but hopefully I'm
Yeah.
back.
Think the Pro
We saved
Charger
you.
scared your internet.
It did. Logan said it was turbo lag.
That could have been that too.
He had to
Could
get
have
respooled.
been.
He fell off the chip, respooled.
Yeah. Old staying the
Yeah.
man days.
I was bumping. Yeah, definitely. Stay in the man days.
Yep. Still a sharp guy. Still call and talk to him all the time. So has a lot to offer. Wish I could drag him back out.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
he's back to playing with street cars.
Oh, cool. Hey, I want to say something before we get too deep into where you're at now. But when you signed into this deal, there was some really small print you probably didn't read that says you can only answer a question 3 times with the answer of it's top secret. You can only use that 3 times.
We got plenty. We got plenty of excuses over here. Don't worry.
Yeah. So the 4th time, just make some shit up and we'll just go with it.
We can
There
do
you
it.
go.
So yeah, then we progressed to the green car. Of course, you had to spray it and all that at that point. So the motor actually came out of the purple car, went into the green car. Purple car went to Jason. Sprayed that small block for all I could afford to spray it anyways. And Colorado boys had our number in Real Street for sure. They came down and their stuff hauled butt. Of course, all big blocks. I was a dumb small block kid back then. Didn't know, didn't know any better, I guess. If I'd have built a big block back then, I'd probably, never went back. But it took a while. So
Cool.
all the Camaro stuff was always, in fact, when I got rid of the green car, I had a 565 going together for it with the Pro Charger. We ran the Pro Charger on Shannon's car and it made it 60 feet and grenaded.
Oh.
And that was my Pro Charger life. And I just kind of lost interest, I think, for a while until this kid brought me back in. So I actually took a few years off and tried getting him into Jeeps, all that stuff, dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, 3-wheelers, you name it. And he got to the point I couldn't get him to go riding no more. And all he wanted to do was go drag racing. And by the way, he was 6 years old. So we went and bought a junior dragster with intents of taking 2 years to put it together. And I think about 30 days later, he was going down the racetrack at 6 years old. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this might have ruined him right here.
Yeah.
This is
That's
the
from
car.
Well, should have never let him around that car before I parked it.
That's an awesome picture.
So I actually won.
That's an awesome picture.
Like the True Radial Championship, and the last one in the purple car was the final was like a day or two after he was born.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He thought he got away with taking his little break, and I was still too young at that time to really know any better. But I grew up, obviously sitting in the engine compartment helping Dad and
all the MSRA tapes got me too, guys.
watching VHS tapes of my dad racing on my little TV. So dirt bikes and 4-wheelers just wasn't that interesting to me at that time. I wanted to go drag race and be like Dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Like father, like son. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Brendan, let's switch over to you. When you talk about the junior and that sort of thing, any memories from that, building that with your dad and going down the track?
It took some hounding, but finally we got the junior when I was 6 years old. Kind of built it for a little bit. I think, is that the one Haugen painted?
Yeah.
In our garage, and we did all that, and then hoping I would be closer. Technically, you're not supposed to start racing juniors until you're 8, and we were kind of hoping it'd be closer to that time when we were all done and ready to go, but ended up actually making my first pass down the drag strip at what used to be Wichita International Raceway at 6 years old. So I was 8 years old for 3 years.
He was an outlaw back then.
That was the joke. I was 8 years old for a long time. But racing throughout those years with the people I was racing against, it turned me into a great driver. And
Wayne made him 8 years old for 3 years.
yeah, it was Wayne Roberts' fault.
Yeah.
But
I was on the phone and I said, "How old does he have
That's
to be your age?" And he goes, 8. And I said, "Okay. And how old is he?" I said, 6. And he goes, "So he's 8?" And I said, "No, he's 6." And he goes, "So he's 8?" And I go, "Yeah, I mean, he's 8."
Yes.
And the next thing I know, we have a motor because that was the only thing I was waiting on. And yeah, it probably took a week after Wayne cracked that open.
So you blame that on Wayne. That's Wayne's fault. Like a lot of Logan's answers to when we interviewed Logan, a lot of Logan's answers was, "That's Shane's fault. That's Shane's fault."
He likes to try to pin it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. Shane's the bad guy here. It's his
I
fault.
don't think so. I just go along with flow.
I try to blame everything I possibly can on him. So
Pretty good at it.
he tries to dish it off on some other people.
That's good.
So after you got done playing with that, what was your first big car?
Had a pretty long junior career, from 6 till 16.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up buying. We sold the juniors and stuff, and we're getting out of it. And I was immediately gung ho on getting a big dragster, and I wanted to start bracket racing in a big dragster. So we got a short.
Put him
big
in a
dragster,
beanie home built
the
dragster.
home built dragster with a 355.
Mm-hmm.
It went mid 8s in the quarters, back when we were still quarter mile bracket racing, and then that switched really fast.
So we had that thing for about a month and a half. We went to 4 races. He won 3 of the 4 and runnered up number 4 in that car. And so I immediately said, "Okay, if you're that good, we're going to buy this car." And so we pedaled that car in the first literally 6 weeks we had it, and moved him into the Cameron car that everybody knew. It started out small.
It started out
434.
Bought it with a 434 small block Chevy. I raced it for a season, and then his fault again. Heads up racer mentality. We can't leave anything alone, and nothing's fast enough. So, and that's not bracket racing. So we ended up getting rid of the 434. We found a 565 in Oklahoma, a headhunter headed deal, and it kind of stepped everything up pretty good. I ended up racing that combo for another year, and immediately still wasn't fast enough, still wasn't cool enough. We found a billet TBS 871 and ended up putting that on the 565, and I bracket raced that for a year and a half.
Yeah.
It went 430s at around 164, 165 in the 8th bracket racing. And then
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty quick
About
bracket
17,
call.
18
I was
years old.
18 years old at that time. 18, 19 is when we
probably
switched
18,
over.
19, yeah.
And then Scott Linker actually purchased the first purple Fox body. And I ended up hopping in that at the racetrack actually while I was testing the dragster, and hopped in it, made some laps. It wasn't anything crazy fast at that time. There was still a lot of bugs and stuff to figure out on the car, and me and Dad kind of had a talk as we were pulling out of the gates, and kind of
Scott bought the car, but you could tell Scott was already moving on from the car before we left the racetrack. You could feel it. He wanted something more already. Like, it showed up. I think it had a starter issue or something, but there was some problems with it. To even get it fired up, the guy delivered it to the racetrack. Scott had him bring it here.
Yeah.
But you could tell
And-
before we even left the racetrack, that car wasn't staying. Scott already had he's moved on. He's buying something else. That ain't it. He wants something better.
And that was a Big Block Pro Charge deal, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
And so I don't know if we took it back out again with Scott owning it. I don't remember how it all went down, but yes, it wound up. Scott was getting rid of the car. He wanted something nicer, something better. And that's, yeah, Brendan and I discussed and
Kind of
decided.
talked about, yeah, pretty much. I had never really been in a small tire, fast car. It was on 28 10.5 slicks at that time. So I'm having to drive the car a little bit. It was fun, exciting, got my adrenaline up. And then that's what all us dumb racers are chasing. So, yeah, we had the talk, and that was when we decided to be
Yep.
done with bracket racing, and it was time for us to make the switch.
So yeah, Scott decided to sell.
We
And
swap.
so we worked a deal out with him and wound up with it. Sold the dragster and wound up with
Very
it.
cool.
So,
How fast did you go in that car?
That car,
43.
yeah, we ended up going 443. Before that, we ended up selling the roller, and we kept the drivetrain and everything out of it, the motor, tranny. And then that's when me and him got the wild hair up our butt to build a car from start to finish, ground up. And that would have been the most recent Purple Fox body that Justin Heckman now currently owns. We had a lot of fun building that car. I learned a ton building that car. I was not a very good welder, not a very good fab person. That was the car that took me to the next level. Learning from him, obviously, on the do's and don'ts. But no, it was
Learned a lot of don'ts when we were done, and
always
would have done it completely different if we'd have done it again. But
Yeah, learned a lot on that car about what was cool and what we liked and what we didn't like.
Somewhere before those two cars, there was the silver coupe, right?
the gray coupe, yeah.
Yes,
The gray coupe.
We built that when he was 12, 13, 12 years old, I'm going to say.
12 years old.
Okay.
I sold it before he was able to get a license.
Okay, gotcha. I
And
remember the
that
car.
was probably a lot of the reason for the purple car. The original purple car was because, yeah, I had regrets because he helped build a lot of that gray car. That gray car was built in 90 days. And there's a lot of work going on in the garage. A lot of work going on in the garage. So we painted that 90 days after we started it. It came from Ron Rich. Never had been completed. Had a bunch of fabrication issues that he had paid for and got, just didn't get what he wanted. So we wound up redoing a bunch of stuff when we got it and finishing it out, painting it, doing interior, everything. It was a whole big mess. But yeah, that car was pretty nice. It just wound up way further than it was supposed to right off the bat. So it was supposed to be a fun street car. It never was.
Yeah, that was a fun car.
Yeah, it was fun, but it just wasn't a fun
Yeah, I
street
remember.
car. I think first time out, we went faster than the cert was for. It melted the intake air temp sensor at like 0.6 in the run because of the F1R, non-intercooled E85. So then it was, put an F1X on it, it'll be cooler. Well, then it was 5 teens right off the bat, and we wound up over at Putnam's putting a funny car hoop in it and some bars.
Yep.
So,
I remember all that.
yeah. And, yeah, like I said, it was too far. It was too far to stick him in or anybody in. It wound up going, fastest on it was 502.
Right on.
Non-intercooled E85. But pump gas E85 back then. So actually we went 442 or 3 in the original purple car on E85. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it was Renegade. We'd switched to Renegade at that point and intercooled. But so yeah, been chasing ourselves backwards for a bit.
Where did the gray car end up?
Texas, Charlie Osborne. Yep. He has it now. His son will be racing it next year. He's going to put his son in it, and that ought to turn out pretty cool. So
Cool. That was a cool car. I always liked it.
it was a nice car.
I like
Almost
paint
too
color.
nice to take further. So
My buddy Jim in Salina owned that car for a long time, and when he got done with it, it made its way here to Wichita, and and you got it from Ron, and
Yep.
and that's where it came from, Salina to Ron, and yeah, car's been around. In from what I know of it, it's been around a long time for my eyes. I've seen it, for a lot of years in Salina. My buddy Jim owned it, and then when you guys got it, it was cool to see what you guys done to it. Really cool car.
it was a nice car. Like I said, just really never was what it was supposed to be from the get-go. We chased it for a little bit just because it kind of put us in those shoes. That car never got outran to the finish line by anybody. We were very successful with that car at the time. And the last race we had it at, we actually were in the final, and it had got another head gasket, and I was going to run. I'll stage anything. We've had this conversation. And I actually had the racetrack get me on that one, and they came over and said, "I can't believe you're going to run that. Didn't you say the head gasket's blown?" Well, the guy I'm running is standing right next to me, and I said, "Well, not now." Well, that was Jeff Painter, blue GT.
Yeah.
And I still mean to talk to him at some point, but as he pushed his car off and back to the pits, which I thought was kind of weird, there was an oil trail the whole way back. I think he'd kicked a rod out of it, but I handed him the win because I felt like I was beat already. I wasn't going to stage a hurt car when the guy already knows I'm beat. Well, I think we were both staging cars that weren't going to run the pass.
Right.
And I may have actually got that one won just by driving it down, because I don't think his was going to even make it to the starting line. But
Yeah, and I remember his car here at that race, and he done a lot of changes to his car, and I don't think that car's been back on the track since.
I don't think so. Yeah, I knew he put it under the gun, and yeah, I don't think he's ever put it back together. But we came home that night, and it was, yep, we're going to tear the heads off this pile of junk again. And we both looked at each other, and I said, "Are you done?" And he was beat on it too. We'd done a lot of work to that car over the period of time we had been playing, and I just said, "I'm done. I've had enough. Let's do something else." So that was it for me driving. That was the last car I drove. So it's been all
So with you mentioning that, one of the questions I had was, you don't drive now. Brendan does.
I have no interest in driving anymore.
Okay,
This
that was my
stuff's
question.
gotten fast enough now. Truthfully, he has to be a better driver than I was. I'd have to be rusty as can be. He's made laps that I can't even add up already at his age. The bracket racing deal, you can make a lot of laps. And we used to, at points, he raced 3 times a weekend, three different races. And he's made a lot of laps in cars.
That I had like a 2-3 part question with you on that, and since you was there with it, like, do you miss driving? Will you drive these small tire cars again? And even beyond that, could there be a mock racing 2-car team? Like a 2-car, one's a blocker. You know how it goes when you get multiple cars
We definitely have a 2-car team for next year.
Okay.
I will not be driving. I will still just be on the laptop and grease monkey side, I guess.
Crew chief.
Yeah. He wants me to get in and drive at some point. I probably will, but my interest level just isn't there. I'll do it just to experience it, but I kind of enjoy picking the car apart more than I do driving it anymore. So
Picking apart the data and looking at the data log and all that stuff.
Yeah, we've kind of started pushing ourselves real hard on suspension stuff, flopping between radials and slicks, and um, seeing how well we can do that stuff. As far as how good we can get the car, we still have work to do. Definitely on the slick side, we are getting better at it, and we're getting real close on the radial side. I just need to push it. So,
Jordan says he needs to drive it one race.
I will. It'll happen, but I'll probably even make Brendan tune it without me.
I don't know about that one. Might be sending you to the sky.
Well, I've done it to you a few times.
Yeah, he's put me in some sketchy situations, but
Not on purpose.
not on purpose. It's part of racing. There's nobody I'd trust behind the laptop except for him. So he's been doing it a long time.
There you go.
We both pretty much put our minds together and work together at the end of the pass. And I'm like to think I'm pretty decent at telling him what the car's doing and where it's doing it. And we kind of put our heads together at the end of the run and go over everything and come up with a plan on what we're going to do for the next round.
I always love the up arrow, and he has to keep me in check most of the time and say, I
Slap
about
your hand.
freaking crashed it there. And I was like, it looked straight to me. It wasn't. I was sawing the wheel the whole way. All right, fine. Leave it alone. He don't like slicks so much.
You guys have a race that you remember the most?
We've got a few difficult ones that are memorable.
Yeah, we got quite a few that are memorable.
Those are always the best ones.
I'd say probably some of the more memorable ones are getting the wins on Father's Day or his birthday, or even most recently with the blue car. We had a very difficult race day. Pretty much rebuilding the top end in between every round, and he was thrashing on the computer, and I was thrashing rebuilding the car. And
Gary had to bail us out with some parts that night.
Gary, luckily,
Yeah,
he hurt his engine, which sucks, but he had the parts that we needed to keep going. And that's what I love about the group that we race with. Anybody that has anything that they're obviously not using, everybody's more than welcome to help, or more than willing to help everybody out. So,
Yep.
but I ended up winning that race, and that was on my birthday, actually. So that was a pretty memorable one.
Cool. I had the salvage yard
cool.
open that day.
Yeah. I didn't just go over to Gary's trailer one time. I think it was 2 or 3 times we ended up in his trailer robbing some stuff off of his car. So
Yeah, rocker arm parts, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
Bush rod cups.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was Rodney on the other side of that tree, wasn't it? In that final?
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah, that was a great race. Always enjoy racing you guys.
Yep. No, we have a great group, honestly.
It is, because it always pushes everybody. Everybody pushes each other to do better. End of this year, we kind of had some jaw droppers, but you know what? It just pushes us all to do even better, right? And that's the thing I like. We don't have anybody just laying back like we're all bracket racing. We always have everybody pushing everybody to do better, and that's what keeps what we're doing exciting, honestly.
Yeah, and we've said it here on this podcast before that we all know how you guys work, and when you roll through the gate, it can't be a surprise at the end of the night to see you guys in the final, either winning it or runner up, whatever the case might be. But it's no surprise anyway that you guys are there at the end of the day.
We
try hard.
Yep, we do. We don't have any quit in us. It don't matter what we're doing or where we're at. If there's any chance that we can make it to that final round and get the win, we're doing everything in our power to do so.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Well, we kind of got. I always said if I got oil pressure, I'm good, and I took that phrase away this year because I found out that 8 cylinders is also good.
Eight is good.
Yeah, just because you got oil pressure don't mean you're having fun. Although, yeah, we had some head gasket issues in the middle of summer at No Prep Kings, and that'll be aired next year. And we took working to a whole new level at that race because it was 110. If it wasn't for Will and Logan and Jason and everybody there helping, there ain't no way. We had the top end off that thing. I was welding on the cylinder head on a Saturday morning at Tulsa Raceway Park, and the boys took the head to a machine shop, milled the head Saturday morning. To by Saturday early afternoon, we have it fired up, heading up for first round.
Oh wow.
After running it Friday night and hurting it, yeah, it wasn't a good deal. Was not a good deal. And that was actually a pay from, we ran, we didn't know it, but we ran Rodney. We were supposed to run Rodney the final, the race before at Arc City, and the car died after the burnout.
Right.
And I didn't realize.
Right.
We got invited to No Prep Kings. We figured out that it actually had a wire coming out of a relay for the injectors, for the power. And I fixed it, and the car fired right up. And I was like, oh, okay, problem solved. Car cranked over even, everything seemed okay. First pass he made, it filled the puke tank with coolant. And I immediately got pretty sick feeling because it never done that. And the second run, it exploded the tank.
Oh.
And we knew we had a problem, but going back and looking at data, we went like 442, 443 back to back. Well, the 440 back to back. And the second run, I was trying to go in the 30s, and it went 40 again. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Well, after going back and looking at the data, you could see where it had dropped the injectors a few times during the run. And it also dropped, I think is what it did, is it hydraulicked it. And I don't know if you guys know that either, but we also lost the impeller blade. We lost a little corner off of it, off the impeller.
At that rate.
And we kept running it.
Yeah.
And we thought it shot straight out the tube.
At the Arc City race, right? At the Arc City race?
Yep. And
Yep.
so we went 440s with that chipped, and we didn't know it until we got to Tulsa. We pulled the car out of the trailer and pulled the plugs out of it, and we're going to put plugs in it and warm it up. And number 8 spark plug was smashed shut. And I was like, well, that ain't good. And so we kind of checked the motor out again, and it seemed okay. But so that second run on that 440, it had the spark plug smashed shut on number 8, and I think I hydraulicked it is what caused the issue.
Oh man.
And yeah, it wasn't so hot, but so yeah, that put us behind again, and then we wound up going on slicks again, and then got to put radials on it here into the year after murdering it at No Prep Kings. So we had a ball at No Prep Kings, though. We'll be back for it next year, without a doubt. That was a good time. Just same as Armageddon. We had a ball at that race too.
And
Hottest races I've ever raced at in my life, but still a good time.
And just to back up a little bit, you're talking about the blue SN95, right?
Yes. Yep.
How did that car come about off of the Fox body to transition into the blue SN95 that you have now?
Justin Heckman screwed me. No. Actually, I called Justin Heckman over Thompson intake he had, billet intake. And the conversation turned into, do you still want to sell the purple car? And I said, well, man, we're getting ready to go into race season. And he was like, so your biggest deal is you wouldn't have a car to run. And I said, well, yeah. And he goes, well, what if? And it all went downhill in that conversation because he was on speakerphone, and we were working on Will Chevelle to take to his wedding, and Brennan's overhearing it, and I hang up, and I said, so I told Justin, I said, man, let me stew this around a little bit, and I'll call you back. And Brennan was like, I almost think I'd have to do that. And I said, I already made up my mind. I want to do it. And we went up on the phone with Justin about all night that night. And wound up working out a deal that, we traded, and wound up with the aluminum 540 in the deal. And so far, we've liked the car. We've learned a lot on it. We've moved the motor around a little bit in it to get it happier. than where we first put it in at. I think where the motor's at now, the car's pretty good. We were able to go 110 here at the end of the year. Car stayed down, looked good. Definitely felt like we could have pushed it further, but we had a 1-inch input in that 400. And Marty's always had me scared of going faster than like 108 or 107. So I've always kind of drew the line at the 110 mark. May accidentally go 109, but that's it. That's all I wanted to do. So we'll make an upgrade this winter. Flip will build us an inch. I think we're going to go 1.125 with the new smart drum. And that way I can push it. Start finding out what we can 60-foot this car.
And you've had an eyeball already at how good of a track Gary Harper can make at Mid-America Dragway.
Unreal. Best I've ever been on in my life. Yep.
Very good.
Gary Harper and his wife Gary, they proved some stuff this year, and it's
kind of like MSRA. I think it's going to screw us because now we all got to go fast.
Right.
We had an excuse. We had a racetrack that was an equalizer. Well, it ain't so much of an equalizer anymore. It's going to be fast. So I like it.
Yeah.
But I'm scared at the same time because we're all going to start going really fast. So.
Yep. It's obvious.
Yeah, I'm excited for that for sure.
It's going to take some fast times to go rounds on that track.
We'll have a 3 at the first race, I think. If not, it'll be the second.
Woo! You heard it here.
Woo!
Absolutely.
Get the belt ready.
Man.
It's going to come quick. It is.
Yeah. So are you going to do some of that no prep racing there as well?
Yeah. Not sure we'll be able to hit the first one, but yeah, I definitely am interested in no prep races at Orc City, and then I'd love to do some traveling as well, doing some no prep stuff and radial stuff if we get the chance to. So
we're making a lot of changes. So as soon as we get it figured out, we'll start having some fun and start doing some traveling and hopefully be able to race these guys and keep up. So we'll have a heavy pig still, but we'll be all right. I want to stay with this car. We still have, I think, one more car under our belts before we're done. But I have more I want to do with this car first. So
Logan says 3JZ to the front. Is he giving away a secret?
Yeah, he is. We're trying to build a new combo, so we'll see if it works out. We had to take it off the 2JZ, but I can't call it a 2JZ because we added 2 cylinders. So I figure it must be a 3, right?
What's that combo going to be? You want to let it out right here?
3JZ.
That's the top secret. There's one. Brandon,
I got an itch to just build some new headers, so we just got to see what we can do with that.
Yeah, it depends on what he builds the headers to fit what we wind up with, I guess.
Headers are easy. Headers are a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you.
So we got some stuff to figure out.
Yeah, we got to build a few sets of headers and we got a little bit of welding to do this winter. So
we'll see what we like the best.
Yeah. It's all kinds of stuff that fits in between those frame rails. So I mean, it's just so open. I mean,
Cummins.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that'd be like create a lot of room. Might actually make it easier to work on. You ain't got to worry about changing spark plugs. Gary, you might be on to something. That leaves more room for turbos. Well, can't do that.
Oh, come on.
No, ain't seen a Pro Charge diesel run yet. So
well, you can be a trendsetter. You be the first.
I'd be the last two probably. So. I don't think we got enough Pro Chargers to make those kind of base numbers. But
well, you stack them up. You know, they compound them turbos. You compound them blowers to blow them into each other and make them work.
No, these are instant torque for those V8s and stuff. We don't need no instant torque on those diesels, I don't think. They're already stump pullers.
Do you guys plan on following the Titans of 10.5 around at all?
I'd like to try. Yeah, we haven't had the availability. scheduling and stuff just really hasn't worked out with us the past couple of years. But if we can have our combo lined out, I'd love to try to chase the Titan stuff. Obviously, Arc City is going to be our main support there. Always got to support them, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Always looking for places to go.
Yep.
What about the radial roundup?
That's too early in the year for us to go travel down there, and we'll probably just rent Arc City first of the year and go down there and try and get bugs worked out.
That Arc City is the first of the year. And then 2 weeks later is Radio Roundup. So you're good to go.
Right.
Well, we'll see how Arc City goes. If it goes well, we might wind up down there. But
Radio Roundup is definitely a bucket list
fun.
race for me. I would love to go.
That was one of my questions was, what's a bucket list race for you?
Radio Roundup for sure. I mean, really, I just been egging to go. Of course, we got to have a combo that's lined out and stuff to go down there. But I want to go down south and race Texas, and really just travel to some more places we haven't been. I love going places that we see new faces and new cars, and kind of makes us step up our game. Not that it doesn't around here, but it's always cool to race new people, meet new people, make new friends. So really just want to kind of do some traveling next year if we can.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tim Webb says 3 Pro Chargers, 1 on the car, 1 in the trailer, and 1 in the mail. Headed to or from Pro Charger. Turbos may be cheaper.
This is the one and only.
This is the only one we've ever had.
And
we never broke it other than chipping that blade, and I don't know what hit it, but it wasn't Pro Charger's fault. So
we had great luck with Pro Charger stuff, and
yeah,
we're sticking with it. It's loud, it goes fast, makes a lot of boost, and
it might have been horsepowers leaking from a turbo that got inside that impeller and broke an impeller off. It might have been some leaking turbo power.
Could have been. Had to do something to slow us down.
Chris Stewart says, "What's the ideas on the new combo?" He's
fast.
late to the game.
We're trying to go fast.
There you go.
Trying to go faster than we were the year before.
Yeah.
Me too.
And easier to work on. Always got to think about that because we're tired of working on them. Even though we act like we're not, we really are. But,
so you mentioned bucket list race. What's a bucket list track you want to run at?
That's a good one. I'd have to say probably the Strip in Vegas.
Vegas, yes.
That'd be cool.
That to me,
Phil's going to sponsor us to go to Vegas this year.
right?
Awesome. Good job, Phil.
Nice.
That to me,
Good job.
I mean, watching live feeds and stuff from that track, the atmosphere looks incredible. The track's always super nice. It's now a 4-lane wide track. I think that'd be cool. And but yeah, that's definitely a bucket list racetrack.
Me and Lopez talk about that all the time, and it'd be a bucket list deal, like a streetcar super nationals, one of them races, like maybe the one late in the year. Take a car or the cars and drive to the damn Strip with our street cars. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. What's the furthest you've raced so far, or your furthest travel?
That'd be Bandmere.
Yeah, probably.
Been to Bandmere in the junior dragster, and when I was racing junior dragsters for the nationals, at Bandmere Speedway in Denver, Colorado, and that track is incredible. I think you guys have been there, and that track was, God, it was something you just had to see in person.
We spent a week there every year in the juniors.
Yep.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. We'd race there literally 5 or 6 days in a row.
Yep.
And yeah, good memories up there. Love the place. Just wish we could have brought air with us.
Right.
Because
Right.
definitely, it even killed the juniors real good. I'd have to hop them up just so we could go up there and run the index. But
This comment was up. Maybe you guys where you're at couldn't see it, but I want to read it. Cameron Marsoff says, hardest working group of guys in our area, hands down. Dedication at its finest.
thank you, Cameron.
So
Appreciate that.
that's from Cameron. Right
We
on.
try our best. It's if we're out of the race or anything, it's not from a lack of trying. We never quit until there's literally nothing we can physically do.
I'm too dumb to quit, and he's had to learn that. So he follows suit. We don't ever do nothing pushing each other. Usually, it's everything we do is we come up with together. We don't give up together. We give up together if we have to give up on something. We don't. Yeah, it's always a team effort for sure.
Wasn't it like 2019-ish, 18 or 19, I think it was 19, the fall nationals, you guys were shoving lifters in your engine. Was it between rounds, right?
So we qualified number 1. We skipped qualifier 2 to pull the intake, put another set of lifters in it, and so all we did, or we put a camshaft in it.
Just lifters.
I think
That might have been just lifters. Yeah, never know with us. I have to question myself sometimes what I did, but yeah. So we shoved a set of lifters in it, and then I think made it up for Q3 just to make sure everything was okay, and went on down the road. I don't remember if we won that deal or not. No telling.
If it was 19, that's when Jordan crashed.
Yep.
Okay, so it was going to be us and Jordan in the final, and because we were going to run a bye run right behind Jordan, and I think Jordan won, but crashed after the finish line.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that was a rough one.
we family won
Yeah.
that one, I guess, even though we didn't. But
Hey Shane, what would you say is your proudest moment racing with Brendan for him? Like looking at Brendan, just being a proud moment, being a father.
we've had a few of them that we've stuck out that we've wanted to not do, and those are always the best ones. And actually, it was a Father's Day here within the past couple of years that was, brutal hot in Arc City. And I truthfully wanted to just go home. And I told him it. I said, man, let's just go home. This is retarded. This ain't what I want to do for Father's Day. No, I'm here to win this deal, and they're going to race later. Well, they did wind up moving the race to later because it was brutal hot. And that's one of the ones he was just talking about, proud moment deal. But yeah, he won. And those are always the ones when you start questioning if you shouldn't quit, that you wind up not, and you can pull it out in the end. Those are always good. They always mean the most. We've put Logan in the winner's circle a few times that we've had to kind of give up on ours or might have should have gave up on his at some point and, wound up pushing ourselves through it and, pull one off. Those are always the best ones to win. If they come easy, I don't know that I would want to do this stuff. I mean, the working hard for it and pushing for it and doing all that's what makes it valuable to me. So
we definitely got some healthy competition around the list.
The bracket racing, like him saying we're supposed to be bracket racing, that's just why I never was happy. The competition is brutal in bracket racing. I mean, brutal. But the excitement wasn't there for me. But the competition and the driving, that's where he learned a ton. And, you could be 005 on the tree and dead on with a 5, and you lost because dude was 001 and dead with a 1. And you're going home.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, that was almost perfect. No, almost perfect didn't cut it this time. You needed to be doing your perfect. Well, that was the, I think, eye opener of bracket racing because I never bracket raced.
Right.
I may have ran up turkey drags or something just to do it, but I didn't do that stuff, and so I truthfully learned bracket racing with juniors. So, and it started to get brutal in juniors, but you got to realize he jumped from juniors right into super pro with the sharks, and man, It's brutal. It's brutal. So
Hey,
Yeah,
Brendan. Oh, go ahead, Rod.
I was just going to follow up on that. As far as the bracket racing out of Wichita, especially that time when you were doing that, Brendan, there's a lot of killers out there. So you had to be quick and get up to speed fast. So I can see why. I mean, starting as a junior as well, Gary and I didn't have that luxury, to go through there and get all those laps and that sort of thing. Kind of just learned a little bit later, if you will. But that's all I was going to add to that. Go ahead, Gary.
Brendan, let's say at the NHRA professional level, if you could drive any one of them pro cars, a fuel car, a funny car, pro stock, what would you drive?
Top field dragster, 100%.
Top fuel dragster. Cool.
he don't have fear, guys.
And if I slid you a blank check right now to go buy a race car of your choice, anything, any amount, any number on that check, you need to buy it. What race car would you buy?
Just one?
Okay, let me hear a little bit. A heads up car. A heads up car. What heads up race car would you go buy with a blank check?
It'd be a 67 fastback.
Oh man, nice.
Oh,
Chevy
Nice.
Powered.
is Chris
Yes.
Stewart here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys come around here with this Ford stuff.
Yeah. Maybe it's on the jig at Chris
Yeah.
Stewart's house right now. Maybe you're already
I
doing
think it is.
Might
That
be.
is that car's gonna be a killer.
The body lines on those cars
Yeah.
are just something else. Yeah.
No, they did
He's-
their cars right.
Yeah.
He was
there
in.
ain't a sexier old car than the 67 fastback. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
he's in here. He might still be
I
watching.
told Chris the other day to keep keep track of those hours working on that car, so I know how much to pay him when he gets done with it.
Yeah.
You might have to get in line.
we all know he don't want to race. He just likes building it. So
Oh, he says 65.
Yeah.
So it's a
Close enough.
it's a thing. Yeah, make it what you want.
It's Chris does
Close enough.
beautiful work. He's done a great job on that car. I've looked at several pictures on it, and
Yep.
he's doing it right.
Yeah.
That's for dang sure.
Yeah, and he's pretty good at what he does. He that
Absolutely.
Chevy too. I mean, another piece of art.
72 was a beautiful car. Me and him always talked about that car.
Mhm.
We love Chevy 2s, and that car, it sat good, it ran good, and it was just beautiful. So, Stewie does great work.
that's probably going to be our last car is a 6 or 7 Chevy 2. Pro
cool.
275 type build.
Neat.
So just because I can't afford a 67
Man.
freaking fastback Mustang, but
Yeah.
It might be getting hard to find.
yeah.
Brendan, when you're done with the burnout and you pull up to the tree there, who's your favorite guy you want to race in the other lane? Who is it? You have a favorite that you want to see in the other lane every time?
I honestly, I could tell you there's someone I enjoy racing the most, but as long as I'm behind the wheel, I couldn't tell you a single thing that I think about while I'm in the car. It is muscle memory. I go into a zone. Somebody could be talking to me through the door, and I couldn't tell you what they said. I just go into my zone. I race my race, and once I hit the burnout box, we're going.
So you said opening the door, Shane. Sometimes you poke in there. What are you saying to him when you open the door there?
We don't really discuss anything. I'm usually just looking at oil pressure, engine temp and stuff. May want to hold him up a little bit just to make a little bit more. And then I always fist bump him before he goes and put the window net up.
Yeah, that's the stuff we see. Like when I'm doing the live
Yeah.
feed on the starting line, I see all that stuff, and that's the stuff you do, and we
And
see it.
that's another thing that I've learned racing young is routine,
Mhm.
and it eliminates all the imperfections and mistakes that you can make. And me and him have a great routine from, back in the
Started
staging
in the
lanes.
junior days. I done the same thing when he raced the junior.
Yep. We have a routine all the way back in the staging lanes till I'm staging the car. I know what to expect, and he knows what to expect every single time. we will do the same thing. So that's a huge.
Well, I even caught a few things racing you that I've learned from you, and won't talk about what they are, but like, and that consistency. So I know every time, but especially with the staging, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
I have a routine too. Before I get a combo sorted out, I tear my shit apart.
We've noticed that routine.
I need to stop doing that.
Should have stuck with the Pro Charger, Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, when Mark built this engine, I told him to make sure to order that crank with a double keyway.
Oh, really?
Because you never know.
You're thinking ahead.
Whether it's me or the next guy that owns the engine, it'd be silly not to, right?
Yeah. Or you can just spline it. You should have just splined it. That's the new thing to do.
Hey, how about just weld that dude on there?
Yeah.
Just weld her up.
So what are your plans for 2024?
Go fast.
Okay.
You said the first race there's going to be a 3. Is that you guys or just prediction?
I hope it comes out of our camp, but I don't know. Depends on how well we come out of the gate. We'll see. Might take us a little bit, but hopefully not. Think we got a good group of guys that are going to get behind us and help me line stuff out very quick for both cars, both Brennan and Logan. That way, hopefully, we can shorten up our learning curve a little bit and go out and start having fun right away.
Cool.
Right on.
Awesome.
So 2-car team, you want to talk about that a little bit, or is that ready for public?
Well, still Brennan and Logan, always same team. I mean,
Just
those
top
kids do
secret
everything
answer
together.
number 2. Top secret
answer
number 2.
number 2.
Yeah.
You got one more.
That's a whole different group of 3s, right?
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
whole other
Yeah.
deal.
No, that's
Logan and Jason get their 3 top secrets too.
Yeah.
Well,
we
I
hurry up
mean,
and
you
get-
can't. Well,
Go ahead,
Logan's
Rod.
car's gone.
Jason and I are still trying to figure it out. So
Yeah.
as soon as we figure it out,
Okay.
we let the guys know in March.
Cool.
No.
Nope, Logan's car's gone. It's as you guys seen, he posted it on Facebook that it headed to Texas. So
Yeah.
Freshen the motor up in it.
Me and Logan.
Send it to Texas.
yep, me and Logan got the motor freshened up in it. Rings, bearings, all the goodies. And me and him were up till 2-3 a.m. Thursday night finishing buttoning it up, and then he got it in Friday and we got it running Friday night, and the guy came and got it Saturday or yesterday afternoon, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Logan's racing program, with your guys' years of experience, has accelerated his racing program.
Logan's became a very good driver
You guys
very
helping.
quickly.
Right. Yes, we've
I think,
seen that.
man, these kids, not only do they watch a lot, but and Logan and Brendan probably talk a lot, but Logan got in a big car here a few years ago pretty scared, and to think about the way Logan drives a car now, it is amazing to me because Logan makes a lot of good decisions in that car. So
Yeah, we seen him in his dad's car a few years back out here, and
I think that was a bonsai run for him. That was a more let's make my dad proud.
Watch this,
I
Dad.
think Logan is probably one of the fastest learning drivers I've seen in a while. The amount of wheelies that car likes doing, and we try to keep it out of, he makes a lot of good calls, a lot of good driving calls, and yeah, he's saved that car numerous times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a lot of the reason Jason and I both, keep going further with the guys is they take it pretty serious. Like I said, they're ate up with it a lot worse than we ever were, if you ask me. So I'm not as ate up as I used to be. They know more about what we're doing with new stuff than I do yet. So I'm still learning, but they're teaching me stuff already. So
He's just getting old.
yeah.
Well, we're all getting.
How many years you got left, Shane?
I would like
All of them?
minus 6 or 7 at least. I don't know. I don't know. We know at some point we'll probably be done. I still got a little bit left. Like I said, we got one more car in us. I think we both want to see the end goal of it. We both see the vision of it. And I think we're going to have to build it before I can quit. I'm hoping I can take the combo out of this car possibly and move it into that at least and help out. But we'll see.
Right on.
Into this year, we always reevaluate what we're doing it going into winter every winter and decide a plan for the following year and start working on it. So even, that was even starting in the junior days, making sure that what we were going to do for the next year with him, we always went into winter talking about what we were going to do for the following year. So
Right.
this winter got heated really fast, but between the mocks and med calves, we're going to try and run 2 cars a lot the same so we can share info, parts, all kinds of stuff. And that'll be nice. So that means Logan still really loves Pro Chargers. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Pro Charge and Wally's, it looks like you guys are sharing.
yeah.
Hope to get some more Wallies and stuff like that. Those are always cool trophies to win and memorable moments. So,
Well, at Arc City, it'll be our big rod.
yep, seen
Did you
that.
see that? Have you seen that?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
it's really
think
cool.
what?
What?
Connecting
It's a rod.
Well, I thought
Yeah.
it was hot rod, and I was like, man, I've had enough of hot rod. I ain't taking.
Well, you'll have to beat him to the finish line to get it.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, if it was a big hot rod, he could have it. I ain't having a big hot rod in my house.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, we've raced quite a bit, Brendan. I was thinking, Shane, just back in the day too, I don't think we ever raced each other. Do you
I
remember?
don't think so.
I can't
I think
remember a
when you
time.
came out and started racing with Bessie, you guys were teamed up. You guys were in the Super Street or Outlaw 10-5 ranks. And then I think when you came out with the white car, I think I'd stepped out at that point. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I kind of remember.
Shannon came out for a year, but yeah, I think I'd stepped out. I think the green
We
car
were
was
doing the
parked
class
at
for the
that point.
Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you got into the bracket world, Brendan,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And
when I got this coupe, you came back.
Mm-hmm.
You had a boat
take
for a
us
little bit, too.
to the a memory where you were driving Scott's 3rd gen. I remember seeing some videos at Tulsa. You testing that?
Yeah. Shortly after he bought that purple Fox body, and then we ended up acquiring it from him. He decided that he wanted something a little more serious, and ended up going to buy a class legal LDR 3rd gen Camaro. It had a Big Block Chevy in it, still a conventional headed deal with 2088s, and he ended up getting that car. We messed with it just a tiny bit, and then shortly after he got it, we decided to travel down to Tulsa, and I believe it was for Throwdown that ended up getting canceled, and we were still holding a test session
Yep.
in the middle of the week. So we still ended up going down for the test session, and the previous owner of the car, Jody, flew down and met us down there to kind of teach us how to run the car and tune-ups and all that stuff. And I hopped in that car. At that time, I was 18 years old.
Never drove a turbo car.
Never driven a turbo car. It was on a.
Won't ever drive one again either.
Yeah.
He's missed it ever since.
No, gauge, freaking pump, box, boom, switch, this, that, buttons.
Me and
Too
Scott,
many switches.
yeah, me and Scott go back and forth on the turbo and blower stuff. But
Well,
no,
hold on a second. Hold on a second, Brendan. Hold on a second. What's your fastest pass ever?
Oh,
Can you re-ask me like in May
you
next
better
year?
ask me that in March or May. Or, yeah,
oh,
April, May.
Is that a turbo car?
That would be
All right,
the
that's
third
fair.
gen.
Yeah.
So the first pass in that car, the tune-up was a little hot and it knocked the tires. The second pass, it went out about 300 foot. The front end came up and I pedaled and about switched lanes on me. And then the third pass in that car, I went 418, 184.
Yep.
And that is
Nice.
my fastest pass on a small tire to date on a radial. So
That's
we,
getting it.
nope, it's
Awesome.
that was a hot rod.
It was unreal to watch that car do that. Because, boy, it sure didn't look like much when it left. But, man, it got out, I don't know, 150 feet. And it was like it got hit by a freight train. And that car done stuff I didn't think the car should really do. And, yeah, oh, my God, it freaking shot out.
It felt pretty insane inside the car. I haven't felt anything like that until here recently. We've started to get our front split numbers comparable to that in our blue car, and finally getting to feel that again. But nope, that thing's a beast.
Yeah, the thing is cool. I remember watching that live. Scott was live that day,
Yep.
and just watching that,
Yep.
kind of transpire. That thing was rolling.
That torque arm, man.
It's like,
Me and
Yeah.
Keith was headed to Denton with the wagon when we watched somebody's live feed. It was probably, you said it was Scott doing a live feed. So we was rolling down the highway watching your passes on the live feed as we was headed to Denton that day.
Mm-hmm.
So after the second pass, Jody walked up to me and goes, "That kid of yours can drive." And he goes, "Man, I think I can go a record with this car here." And I said, "Then do it,
Do it.
But I think Jody kind of had a little bit of, Scott had talked bringing up a little bit, but I think Jody had still, well, you don't really know what the heck he's getting into yet. Well,
sure.
I think Brendan having some reactions to some of what was going on and coming back with feedback sold Jody on, man, he can do this. So that's
Yeah.
when he ripped off the 18, and immediately he went for trying to rotate the earth with it, and it track just wouldn't take it. So
Yeah.
I think we tried 2 more passes after that. And he wasn't turning it down. We'd went 18. We had to go faster than that. And I think his record was an 11 at the time.
It was a mid to high 11, and the record
At
was
Georgia.
about an 11 at that time. The actual LDR record was an 11. Yep.
And I think he was trying to go an O with it that weekend. In his mind is what he thought. He was pretty impressed with Tulsa. So yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, about as close to a Georgia
Yeah,
track.
he was
you get
impressed
at
with
the
Brendan
time
because
around here.
Do what?
About as close you could get to a Georgia surface at the time around here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tulsa's pretty nice. So Jimmy was prepping it that day, and they were keeping it in pretty good shape. So I think there was 3 radio cars, or was there only 2?
2 or 3.
Yeah, I know Scott and 1 or 2 other guys we were the only ones running down that lane that day. So it kind of made it nice to where it was a consistent lane, I guess. So that I think is the biggest push for me and him, and maybe even for Jason next year. I'm not sure. Is the track consistency that's happening, not only with Arc City, but Ozark. They're starting to figure it out, and that just excites me for wanting to race. There isn't anything more frustrating for me than going up and a racetrack is mouth-watering good, and then the next pass you go up and you feel like you're on a dirt track. I want it as consistent as I can get it so I can learn. And that's something we seem to be getting now that makes it very exciting.
Farmers will definitely give us that consistently good surface, though. You can make a very small change and actually get to see it and everything it's doing.
Mhm.
And that's a game changer.
Yep. Yeah, it makes it a lot of fun.
Yep.
So,
Do you have any desire sometime to take your blue car to Georgia to one of them races?
We really honestly haven't. We had talked about it a little bit when we built the purple car that Heckman now has. And going to do maybe some LDR stuff with it, and just never really got around to it. We haven't talked about it yet with this car, but if we get to the point to where we have a really good combo and the car's working great, and we feel like we can go do some major traveling and do really well, that's nothing's off the table.
Mhm.
So
Cool. Be a neat experience.
absolutely, that'd be another bucket list race. Is to go to Georgia at a big radial race like that, and the atmosphere is always cool at those races.
it might take another car before, truthfully, weight wise, we'll be competitive at something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure what the weight limit would be with the 136 in this car, but we're tickling the 3,000-pound range.
Okay.
So
I was about to ask what
Cameron
your
doesn't think so.
yeah. Now this car's always being run right. I mean, literally like 2980 to 3,020-pound range is the range we run this car at. And in order to get it lighter, I don't want to turn it into that car.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do that, I'm just gonna build a tube car and put small tires on it. So,
I had 400 pounds on you.
yeah.
400.
That's the original purple
The
car.
original purple car was 3450.
Yeah, the
Yep.
original purple car was a beast because it was intercooled and everything, and it was steel doored and all the above. But yes, I feel your pain, but yeah, you got to quit at some time. It's hard on parts.
Yeah. Last time my car set on the scale was like 3413 in September of last year, September 22.
Yeah,
And woo, that's difficult.
yeah, it is.
So,
It
especially when you start to
makes running those early numbers rough.
Yes.
to start going faster than 450s, 460s. You're working on 60 foot and front split, and then when your car's that heavy, that's where parts are starting to expire and everything has to be just right. So we've learned that the hard way too.
Yeah. That's
We
all I
wore
have.
out a lot of stuff, figuring stuff out.
Yeah,
I've started putting stuff in the trash can to lighten it up, man. It's
Well, let Rod know where you put that turbo. He might need it as a spare.
we should stick it on that Fox.
I just have one. Yeah.
If it's going
Just
in
a
the
bunch of
trash
little
can,
light
you might as
stuff
well have
over
a
here.
spare.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your ET goal by the end of next year?
we're going threes.
Threes. That's a killer goal to run after. Man.
Yep.
Nope, that is the goal. I want to go threes at over 190.
Woo.
No lockup.
No lockup.
Yeah,
Cool.
no lockup.
Awesome.
Whether that happens around here, which I definitely think Arc City's capable of now, or wherever. I'd love to go to Texas and race down there with them guys, but we'll see. But yeah, that is the goal.
Yeah, and Devin opened up a lot of eyes
He did.
in October to the potential of the track.
Yep.
I think we've seen at the race before though, because we were going. We were being very soft the race before, and it's 90-some degrees outside, and I felt like I was in total control that day. I never once felt like the track limited me at all. I literally felt it that day. That was the best racetrack I'd been on in my life, and it was 90 degrees out.
Ooh, man.
So I knew what we had coming. I was afraid of what we had coming. But Gary had a hold of it in the heat, which is where it surprised me. And then we were hoping to be out in the oh my god great air at the end of the year, which it wasn't oh so great,
That
but
was
it was
3,000 feet.
better, and the track only got even better. So
Yeah, the air was 3,000 feet still.
yes, yes,
It was
yeah,
terrible.
we were hoping to be out there swinging in some mine shaft air, but yeah, it didn't work out. But still seen some extremely good numbers in 3,000 feet air. So yeah,
Gavin came down and kicked us all in the behind and said, "This is how you do it." So
Larry Hunt,
Yeah.
he's part of the Titans. He's Larry Hunt. Okay, so he says can't wait to bring Titans back to Mad. Gonna be a killer race.
we're excited about that. We were real upset when they had to cancel last year.
Yeah, that would have been a big, great race.
absolutely would have. Yeah, it sucked that things went down the way it did, and that race ended up getting canceled. But I do not. I can tell you for a matter of fact, Titans of 10-5 will not be disappointed with Arc City. I have no doubt in my mind that will be a great race.
It will. And I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. Did you see they came up the class, the limited 275?
I did
Yeah.
see that.
And I think that's great too, because again, we're getting pretty fast. And it always scares me when, people may think we're rich or whatever. But again, been doing this my whole life to get where I am. Take it all away, I can't go out and do this again. And I wouldn't, I don't think. But we're getting to the point that it's pretty expensive. You ain't going to go out and buy a low 4-second car with just some cash you have laying around, or build it in a short period of time. So we need something for people to come into. And I think we're just, again, racing ourselves out of a class in a sense. So I'm very glad to hear that we have something for a limited class for people to come in and still race. So
Yeah.
that's been my biggest fear,
Yeah.
is racing everybody out of a racetrack. And I used to say that even going into bracket racing, because, you used to go into Sportsman and race the Fred Kaufmans and all that stuff. There was really no place for a beginner to begin. And juniors, man, they're expensive. I mean, it costs you a chunk of money to go get everything you need to go race a junior dragster. Well, somewhere there needs to be somewhere for, things to start out, even in the heads up side, which we know the heads up side isn't, the beginning side, but you still need a beginning side of heads up. So otherwise, as we phase
Yeah.
out, who's stepping in? So hate to see any of it dying, but I'm afraid with the faster we go, the more we'll lose, and nobody will have anywhere to go. That's why I still wonder if at some point
Yeah,
we won't go
agreed.
back to slicks. So, and I'm, I'll do it at any given moment. If they said next year we're not doing it, we're not doing radial stuff, I'll put slicks on. We'll go slick racing. I don't care.
We've talked about that a
Oh,
few
yeah.
times. Yep.
Yeah. And if that's what it takes for things to survive, sure, the radial racing's great. And you can ask him right now which tire you'd rather run, and he'll confidently tell you he'll go threes on a radial, and he might cut you off in the 460, 450 range on slick. Well, there's that much of a difference in the tire. So it to
Right.
go low fours, you got your stuff together on a 28. So I know people have done it and they've made it look pretty good, but there are very few. So most of them they're on a run, man. So I think it would be exciting also. I really do. I think that a lot of
Yeah.
our days, these wheelies Logan does and all that, that's good for the spectators. It really is. They love that excitement. A fast radial pass is pretty boring looking, honestly.
Yep. You're right.
So when the drama's happening, we're not going fast. Well, I guess that's the cool thing about slicks is it brings a little bit of the drama back, but for the driver, not exactly your favorite thing. So I don't have to drive it, so I'm all about it.
I've been into some scary situation on slicks and radials, but yeah, slicks. Anytime I'm strapping into a car on slicks, on no prep or whatever we may be on, yeah, no, your adrenaline's pumping for sure. It's a wild ride every pass.
And you're going to do
You bet.
Armageddon again next year.
Absolutely.
And
We love racing big mark stuff.
Yep. No,
that's
we've
kind of odds.
spectated that race for several years, and last year was our first time we were able to get to participate, and hands down, it was a super fun race for us. Even though it was heat index was in almost 120, and you couldn't breathe or whatever, but we had almost 70 cars in small tire racing for a big chunk of change, and
Makes for a lot of fun. It does.
we made it down to 12 cars. And that was only the second time this car had been on slicks. So I think as we went out
Testing the week before.
the
Gary
week before.
Gary helped us out a little bit getting some passes on slicks, but that was our first actual race
Yeah.
on slicks, period, let alone no prep.
So
And Gary Harper was surprised to hear how fast you can turn that car from a radial car to a slick car.
Well, it's taking a lot of work, but yeah, we can do it pretty fast.
we have got a system that we can pretty much
We kind of tested ourselves going slick racing for a bit, and then for the end race, going not only back to a radial, but making a few little changes that we were thinking needed to happen, and the car showed us it worked very well.
we've learned this car really well, and I write every aspect of the car down that we've learned and what we've experienced in the past. So I'm able to just go back to notes and logs and stuff, and we can put it right back where it was. We know we're confident. He's got all the tune-ups and stuff where we need to be, and we can take slicks off the car and put radials back on the car and go down to Arc City and rip off a mid to bottom 4-second pass and be pretty drama free. So
Yeah. That's, and you used to mention
That's cool.
taking notes. Taking notes. I've never done that until last year, and I didn't get to race very long, and the engine broke. But I think taking notes is very important, and
logging things so you can go back to it, or just taking notes on where things are at for how fast you're going, or because I mean we all know cars change and how they work and what we're doing. The faster we go, we're doing different things with the car. So keeping track of all that way you're able to go back to something is something I've learned helps us greatly. So
This car opened our eyes a lot on a lot of what was going on, and we added a couple things to the front of the car and upset the car. And I couldn't believe how much a tiny little change made a big difference in the way a car acted. And that really opened our eyes in really starting to pay attention to the stuff and starting to nitpick, in which we didn't run the car a whole lot, that car. And then even moving to this car, I think we've only got 45 runs on this car.
I think I counted 39.
Okay, so 39 runs on this car, but in those 39 runs, not quite half of them, but we got a lot of slick runs thrown in there too.
Yeah,
So we kind of split them between the two. So we've learned a lot both ways with this car really quick. Like I said, we even moved the motor.
3/8 of an inch.
Yeah. Was that for this year, or did we do it during race season? I don't remember.
That was in the middle of race season.
Yeah, in the middle of race season, we moved the engine. So, not afraid to try stuff. Well, love learning what and why. So, but yes, notes are extremely.
So doing all this racing all these years, anybody you want to thank while you got the floor here? Kind of help you along the way?
We've got a lot of people that have helped us get where we are today. There's no way me and him could do it on our own. and we're very, very grateful. The Pro Chargers obviously been on board with us for a little while. They've helped us tremendously. Jason and Logan, not only are they teammates, but they are sponsors of the car as well with Ultra Color Collision. They've anything that we've had painted has been painted by them, and has came out show car quality.
Absolutely.
Stuff
Straight out of the
always
boot.
looks good.
It's incredible what they can do. I'm excited. Maybe down the road we'll do something with this car, but Flip at Flip-O-Matic Transmissions, he has done
He's been
his-
there with me since I was young to turn around and put it right into him. And in fact, that first dragster we had talked about, I think it was Summer Nationals. I remember that, but your first weekend or two out. And we went up and he set the tranny brake and the car backed out. And Flip was up on the starting line and he immediately is over in the pits and was like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know, Flip. He goes, well, get it out. Let's take it down to the shop. And I'm like, Flip, it's 11, 12 o'clock Friday night. And he's like, it's Summer Nationals, man. We can't let this kid miss it. We literally are down at the shop and the tranny's still hot. And when we put it back together, it was still warm. Yeah, we pulled the dragster in the shop and done this in the shop and took it back out and Brendan won Summer National. So it made it all,
wow, cool.
another one of those, made it all worthwhile, but would have never even made first round without Flip's support. So,
No,
Wow, it'd have been in the
definitely
trailer, huh?
yep.
can't thank Flip enough for being on board and doing everything that he's done. Doug and Marty with Neil Chance Racing Converters, they've helped him and been on board and helping us as a team with our small tire cars, and we've had great success with all their products. Can't thank them enough. Johnny O'Neill with O'Neill Porting. He has taken care of our heads, the cylinder heads. He's just getting going with his shop, but he's getting some really, really state of the art nice tools. And he's doing great work out there.
Used to work for BES.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Cool.
has some good knowledge.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting people too.
Big Mike.
Yes.
Big Mike's been there for me since I was earlier nitrous days. Somebody, I remember racing him and Blosser in Tulsa one time, and everybody, go stage. And I know Mike's in the other lane, and I ain't staging until I know Mike's ready. And I literally, the trunk's open on Blosser's car, and I swear to God, he was arc welding in the trunk. Well, he's trying to wire a fuel pump or something. And I mean, there's sparks flying. It's lighting up. What's the only time in my life I have messed up staging my car and I didn't turn my nitro system on? Because I was just like, what the heck's going on? But again, I wouldn't stage because I'm racing Big Mike. And I know Big Mike could do anything to wait for me or help me out or do anything else. And there was no way I was going to do it until he told me, hey, I can't make it or whatever it was. But he's been helping us out a lot. We wouldn't, no Prep Kings would have been a disaster for us if Mike wouldn't have been there to back me up on calling some shots that I really didn't want to call. And just having him, being able to tell me, man, you're going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Made me a lot more comfortable. Trying to think. As far as going racing and stuff, Will's helped out a ton on the car as far as, always being there, helping out, helping work on the car.
Phil,
We got
the big tall bald guy.
Yeah, he's kind of goofy, but I don't know if you guys know him, but he likes turbos too. So I think, I would think Rod knows him. I think they're turbo buddies or something like. They might be on the turbo.com deal together. Phil don't do much social media, so they'd have to be on like a community site or something.
Yellow Bullet for him.
Yellow Bullet. That was it. Yellow Bullet.
Turbo Love.
Yeah, turbolove.com. I don't know. I'm sure we're forgetting some people. Always do, but even down to his sister. Macy's always there to help out. And then,
Logan's my right hand man.
without a doubt, they do some
Anytime-
stupid stuff together.
Yeah, anytime we're thrashing on his or my own car, I can always count on him to be right there next to me doing some stupid, crazy stuff. Me and him have both several times stayed up all night working on a motor, or assembling a motor, and get done in the garage, and we both get cleaned up and drive straight to work. It's just anything we do that's crazy.
I almost think they like it better that way.
He doesn't give up, just like I don't give up, and that's great to have, because I honestly can't say that I'd be able to do some of the stuff that I've done without him by my side. So
They push each other a lot.
yep, can't thank him, and obviously his dad's helped me out tremendously. Can't thank them enough. So
I think that one of the October races, you had a thrash, and we was in the staging lanes, and you and Logan, and you guys were kind of rehashing over the 3 or 4 days the maybe the single digit number of hours you had to sleep in those few days getting your car ready, and you had to finish it at the track that day even.
yeah. So
I think we fired it up.
I think we had 5 or 6 hours of sleep in the matter of from like Tuesday to Friday, and then like I said, like you said, I actually didn't have enough time Friday after work. Me and him both work full-time jobs, so I think I ended up getting off a little early. Tried finishing it, wasn't able to get it finished. We hauled butt out to Arc City, and me and Logan stayed up late that night, finishing the car and getting it running. Woke John Hurt up at 2:30 in the morning, firing it up. So
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
yeah,
John loves Brendan waking him up in the middle of the night, and Cameron, by the way.
Funny stuff.
That ain't the first
all
time
right.
Brendan's woke him up in the middle of the night.
Cameron.
And Brendan.
Mm-hmm.
I try and keep those two apart.
I blame Cameron.
Brendan blames Cameron. Cameron blames Brendan, but seems like the two of them always seem to have
Hey,
one
you got a
heck of
story here?
for the next day.
Yeah, there's a story with this.
Oh, there's a few of them.
Hey, Shane, you got a story?
Oh,
Can
I
you
got
see
a few.
it?
At least
I
you
got
didn't wake him up with an ambulance?
Yeah, that one too. That's the first John Hurd wake up incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Cameron's fault.
Yeah. Yep. See what I mean? Cameron, you got anything to say about that?
Way to go, Cameron. That's funny.
No, we love Cameron. He's a good dude.
He is
Always
good,
fun to race with. Always down to have a good time, and he's one hell of a racer. He's another one that's came
Came out of the
hasn't
swinging.
really raced his whole life, but has definitely came out hot, and he's got nice parts, nice car. He's definitely got a combo that's
And
to
he
be
comes
reckoned
out.
with next year.
He comes out swinging the big D.
Yep.
Watch this.
Nope, he's not messing around. He's got nice stuff, and
Yes.
he's always one to worry about.
Yep. Another one that helps push.
Yep.
He'll keep you on your toes and honest too.
Did you take a potty break, Rodney?
I did.
Okay. Well, I did too. I just didn't walk away.
His tea is a little more yellow now.
See this Coke bottle?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was gonna go out back. I was gonna leave you and go out back. I'm like, I got a bottle in the trash can. I'm gonna fix this right here. Holy cow! It gets about the 1 hour mark, and I'm about to explode. But
Yeah.
I'm good now,
Yeah.
Guys are getting old.
man.
You got that right.
But I
Yeah, Bus
only one.
retired.
Yeah.
Woo!
Jesus.
I just had to relieve some
So,
pressure.
any final thoughts? Gary, you got anything else?
Now I had the questions I had. You guys hit it and nailed it, and you got all my stuff answered. You got stuff on your sheet?
I just got one more thing to say, but I wanted to, kind of hand it back over to Shane and Brendan for any kind of final thoughts. Kind of went through our, questions and that sort of thing, and you're able to thank people that help you. Any last things you want to say? Shout outs or anything?
We've had a long journey. Been doing it a long time, and I've been blessed to be doing it with my dad every step of the way. It's been a father-son team from the start, and we couldn't do it without the people that are supporting the team, and hope we can do great things in the near future.
Yeah, Roger that. Roger that. It's nice to see the father-son team going, and love racing with you guys. Definitely know you're a heavy hitter, like Gary said before. We've had some close races, Brendan, and I love every one of them. I always feel safe racing you. There ain't any drama and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's good to go.
And those
Looking
close
forward
races
to next year as well.
Yeah, and those close races, I've seen them through the lens of my phone on the starting line on the live feed, and that's pretty exciting too. You root for both guys, and it's exciting to watch from my viewpoint. Where I'd rather be racing, but the live feeds are fun, and just cheering for everybody. And we're all a big happy group of awesome racers, I think.
It's always more fun and exciting to have a side-by-side close door-to-door race going all the way through the traps, and Rodney has been one to give me several.
Wow, I can't believe you didn't talk about your big accomplishment at Tulsa when you clicked it in high gear against that turbo car that's real big against that car. What happened? That was an exciting moment for me.
Yeah, we big into the turbo car on slicks at Tulsa.
He had a turbo car out on him a little bit, plugged it in high, and whole turbo car started disappearing.
Yeah, that was another cool.
Well,
great training.
Does that depend on the turbo car? Like if you're against my turbo car, that's not that impressive. My turbo car don't run that good.
Oh, we just finally got a blower car to start running the back half a little bit again, or started working on it, I guess we should say.
It was a pretty fast turbo car.
Yeah, and it was a turbo car that, it's very, very well known that we were not expecting to drive away from.
We weren't supposed to beat them.
Yes, and probably wasn't supposed to beat them. So once they were out front, you kind of pucker up pretty tight for the loss and to plug it in high gear. And Brennan immediately got out of the car and was like, he had me until it went into high. And I just watched him start disappearing. And I was like, did you just tell me that a Pro Charge car, I big into that turbo car? I'm excited. You got my blood pumping now.
And Rodney and Gary, you guys both know that. Those are moments that you as a driver sitting inside the car you live for. When you can look out of the corner of your eye and you can see someone, and it is just it's taking everything you got to beat the person in the other lane.
Looking for a deeper floorboard and more gas pedal.
That's what keeps you going. So there's no better example than doing something like that.
Yep, I've rattled a tire a couple times and been the chasee to the finish line, and that closing rate when you're chasing is pretty exciting when you're coming up on them and you meet at the finish line, win or lose. It's fun coming from the back and catching them at the finish line.
Yeah, the adrenaline seems to pump when you think you're losing and you think you might have it.
Yeah,
it definitely changes the adrenaline, it seems like.
Any idea when that NPK stuff is going to air?
So we're supposed to, I believe, end of February, beginning of March is when we should be expecting something on that. We still got a little bit. Actually, still have producers getting a hold of me asking for a little bit of information and pictures here and there. So they're obviously still putting things together. But yeah, I'm expecting, as what they told me, is to be late February, early March.
We were about midway through the season, or we were middle towards the end.
Yeah, we're the first race on the second half of the season. So it should be starting in January.
Okay.
We should expect I think it was the 8th or 9th race of the season. So definitely be something to look forward to. And we were being dumb on TV. So the TV crew,
I'm excited to watch it.
TV
We were there in true no quit fashion, let me tell you.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be fun to watch. And we knew we wanted to do this interview with you guys. Like, ideally, it would have been really cool the night after it aired, but not knowing when, and we didn't want to wait till February, March, or who knows when it would have been. And we didn't want to, we didn't want you guys to think we were blowing you off or kicking you to the curb. So it's like, let's get you guys on now, and it'll still be fun when the show airs.
Absolutely.
And having this behind us and knowing that you talked about it, it'd be cool.
We'll try and have a watch party or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Anything we missed?
All right. So I guess we'll wrap things up then. Just to finish off here, just talking to the group. I just kind of watching the comments as well. I don't see anything new. So appreciate everybody joining in and staying with us for an hour and 46. Just for anybody new, come over here to the Heads Up Racing Gary and Hot Rod podcast. Hit our like, hit our subscribe. And you might have heard, just want to drop some news as well. Today, there was some news around the track at Wichita. And so we are going to bring Kenny on Wednesday, 7 o'clock, and we'll talk to him about that. We don't know anything. We're just a vehicle for him to spread some information. That's all we are. And so just come back on Wednesday at 7, and we'll talk through that. But just want to say thank you to Shane and Brendan for the time tonight, and I appreciate you coming on. Had some good stories, and enjoyed all of them. I remembered probably 90% of them. So.
Yep.
About good times.
Been a long time racing.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shane and Brendan, thanks for your time tonight. It was fun. This was easy to put together with you guys, and I didn't know. I know, Brendan, how you got into racing. It was obvious for that guy next to you. It's his fault.
Yeah.
And I didn't know nothing really about Shane's.
That's the only thing I'll take blame for.
Yeah, it's your fault for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, that was obvious.
No,
And,
it's not hard to get us to sit down and talk about racing. So.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Thank you guys for your time. It was good, fun stuff.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Us on.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Can't wait to line up with you next year sometime on the racetrack.
3 JZs to the front.
Absolutely.
3 JZs, 4 JZs, whatever. See you guys. Bye.
See you guys.
Rodney Dow. Oh,
Hello.
yes. So tomorrow morning sometime, I'm going to put the event together, scheduled for Wednesday night, with Kenny Alt. Everybody has for sure seen that by now, that Kansas International Dragway is back for 2024. And Kenny has stuff to talk about, so we're going to talk with him on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Little special time and date deal out of the ordinary, but we feel like it needs to be out sooner than later. So
yeah, we'll talk to him and give him some time there to tell about what he's got going, what he's thinking, and that sort of thing for the track, and when he plans to be open schedule. It's all his news that he can share. But we're glad the track's opening back up for 2024, and give us it's all good for the racing community. So we just want to share that information out.
Yep. And so that's out of the ordinary breaking news that's going to happen midweek. Saturday night. What's going on
Saturday, the 23rd? Saturday the 23rd. So everybody knows that I think we got Christmas coming up, Christmas Eve. So we don't want to do that Sunday at 7. So we're going to have John O'Neill from WDRA come on Saturday, 7 o'clock. We did speak to him at PRI, talked to him a little bit about this, and but he's got a lot of good things he wants to talk to us about. Gary mentioned before that he saw a podcast with him, 30, 40 minutes speaking of the WDRA. And we told him we're going to give him all the runway he needs to talk through what he's got going there. And so we're excited for John to come on, and we'll be able to work through that. And we also got some other news that we'll share on that Saturday, not only for upcoming events that we have people coming on. We have 4 lined up, but we also want to share just some information that Gary and I are working through to help support the podcast, because as you know, Gary and I put this together, and it takes a little bit of effort and resources. And so we were able to get some help there. So good stuff coming. Plan on being here for a little while. So hope everybody likes it.
Yep.
So
Shane and Brendan was
good.
Good stuff. Great racers. Wednesday night.
Yeah. I don't remember going into Auto Works and calling him out. Like,
well,
I don't
he
remember
does.
that. He was saying me and Bill went into his job and yeah, I don't remember that. He said that. I was like, what? I don't remember that. But
That's funny.
all right.
Yeah.
It was fun, man. You're, 18, 19, 20 years old. And, but, Shane was fast back then. So we wanted to go check it out. Thought that was fun.
Yep. That was funny.
Yeah.
That's good
Low
stuff.
12 seconds, that's running the street, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's funny stuff.
All right, Gary, you got anything else for us?
I don't. Our YouTube channel, jump on that. And I've put this up here. YouTube channel, subscribe, Heads Up Racing, Gary and Hot Rod Podcast. Eventually, we want to get there all the time. It's a good platform for live stuff like this in the comments, and it's a really good place for this type of stuff. But it'll just take some time, but go there and subscribe. And with the Mocks, go to their Facebook page, Mock Racing on Facebook, like their racing page, show them some support, have some fun. They got some cool stuff going on. That's all I got. Wednesday will be awesome.
All right.
Next Saturday night will be awesome with John O'Neill. Man, it's gonna be a pretty awesome, exciting week. So, let me just blast through the comments here. I think we hit on everything that come through. Some Pro Charger talk and this and that. Tracy Lynn says, great show tonight, guys. Thank you, Tracy. As always, we appreciate your help, your pictures, everything you do to support the track and what we do, and your video that we use. I don't think we say it often enough, but thank you for that piece you put together for us. It's really cool. It's a great feature. Thank you, Tracy, for everything you do. Yeah. And that's the end of the comments there. So, you got anything else, Rod?
I saw one more comment. Just want to talk through.
Oh, yeah.
From Barry Peter. Yeah. I'm excited about this class myself. I talked to Al about at PRI about this class. I'm looking into this as well, and looks like we're at to put my doors back on and drive the car around a little bit, which is totally fine.
Yep,
but I'm definitely looking at this. Yeah. And
yeah,
so
and
we'll see how it plays out. But
yep, and Larry Hunt was on here. Larry, if you're still on here, we don't know, but we're going to be reaching out to you and Al sometime in the future, and we'll have some Titans talk. That'll be fun. Do some Titans at 10-5 chat. So I'm out of stuff. I don't have anything. I'm almost out of drink too.
All right.
You ready to split?
I am.
All right. I think your audio is a little bit behind, but all right, let's go. See you, Rod.